Welcome back to Straight Facts on the Football Terrace. The English teams are involved in the Champions League tonight. We're going to be delving into both games in detail, giving our thoughts, feelings, predictions for them. We, of course, want to hear yours in the comment section below. We're also taking a look at Ivan Toney to Manchester United, which looks like a real possibility for the Red Devils this summer. We're going to take a little bit of a look back on last night's Champions League action with Kylian Mbappe coming up clutch again. And anything else you guys wish to throw at us, get your comments in, get your questions in. Of course, we prioritize the super chats and the member chats. We always do. But Dan Lawless and Mo join me again. How are you, gentlemen?
Very, very good. Very good. Excited for the games tonight. Champions League. Obviously, look, Mo, he always beats me. He always says, hit the like button. Makes me feel bad for not saying it after I do my introduction. So everyone hit the like button so I don't feel bad. You know, so go and smash
Appreciate
it. All the big numbers. We've been hitting the numbers. Pick a number, Mo. I don't know what the target is.
Yeah. You know the target, right? It's 1,000 likes to 1,500 likes live and 2,000 likes if you're watching this on the replay. If you haven't hit the like, it's the free thing. It doesn't cost you a penny. You know that. The likes are free. This show is free to watch. Just hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you're new. Straight facts, top 6, match reactions. Just do it. You know, doesn't cost you a penny, and you're enjoying. I know you're enjoying the content, but you're just cheap and don't want to hit the like. I know you're cheap and you don't want to hit the like. I know that.
One thing I will say is this: a lot of people watch it on their televisions, and it's harder. There isn't a like button to hit if you use the remote and stuff like that. But just do it for us; it would be great, people. It really, really would. Yeah. Lots to talk about today. I wanted to start off with my club, Manchester United, and some transfer stories surrounding us, because how we're playing is what it is. We know the manager's coming to an end, but the club, I'm actually quite happy we're linked to players now as opposed to waiting for the manager, because that shows it's going to be a club plan and you can start work on the players before the manager comes in, because it's all going to sing off the same hymn sheet. But according to reports from some really credible sources, Ivan Toney is a central figure for Man United's summer recruitment plans. They don't want to get into a bidding war, but Man United reportedly are quite confident in their ability to land Toney with minimal competition, especially with the likes of Arsenal now looking elsewhere. Question for you two, first of all. Is, in your opinion, Ivan Toney a good addition to the Man United squad come the summer?
I think it is. I think it's a good addition. He's a quality striker. He's done it at Brentford, and the fact that he had so much of a long layoff and came back and hit the ground running is good. I worry about his attitude at times. I don't know, the way he's treated Brentford, and you know, he's been quite disrespectful to the club at times. I don't know if he'd carry that over to a bigger club. I think that would be a sound first signing, depending on the price. And this is the thing: if Arsenal are truly moving on, we hear about how he's twerked for Arsenal and he's supposed to be an Arsenal fan. That's why this has surprised me. I thought that would be their first choice before they move on to other targets. So if the path is open for Man United, it makes it much easier for you to negotiate and try and get a decent price. What you would be looking to pay, I'm not sure really and truly what he's looking for. Because look, if you can get him for like 60 mil, 70 mil, that'd be ideal. If you're pushing it up, you've got that squad needs a rebuild. So I don't know what your budget is, especially you've got a new manager. So you don't want to be splashing it all on one player. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, man, good player, build around him, finally get a decent goal scorer. And you got Højlund as well. It's going to be very interesting.
Match made in heaven, bro. Match made in heaven. Very good player, but toxic. Match made in heaven between Manchester United and Ivan Toney. Absolutely brilliant. I actually think it's absolutely.
Why is he toxic? Why is he toxic?
He's not toxic. Calling out his club twice because a girl asked him to.
Okay.
Come on, Terry. You know what I'm talking about. The ego.
Hang on. Let me respond. Okay.
He's a good player, though. I like him.
He is a good player. Let me just say this now. What he did was a bad look, but it wasn't toxic. He was trying to impress, if I remember correctly, a very attractive girl, because he wanted some of the horizontal hula. That's not toxic. That's just cool. Like, is what it is.
If you got to do that and throw your club, when you're a football player who gets paid a lot of money to get a female, you got to do that. I'm worried for you.
If he plays for Man United, if he plays for Man
just...
United, and Marcus Rashford ask him to go out to Norway or something,
yeah, no,
what do you think he's gonna do, bro? What do you think he's gonna do?
What I find funny about it, right? Do you know what I find funny about it? I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans in the last few days since the links to Man United have come up. All I've seen for 12 months, if not more, is Arsenal fans, and in front of most fans, talk about how good Ivan Toney is. Suddenly, United linked to him, and everybody's looking for all the problems and the issues and why it wouldn't be a good signing. And their clubs are linked with him, Chelsea especially as well, at 80, 90 million pounds. The reports coming out now is available between 30 and 50. If we end up getting him for half the price what the Arsenals and Chelseas and co were quoted, and it's suddenly, he's a really bad player. I think he's excellent. He's a player that, we haven't been linked to this whole time. But Arsenal have been for a couple of years. I was exceedingly jealous of them being linked to him. I think he's excellent. And I think that as talented as I believe Rasmus Højlund is, I think he needs somebody of experience around him, maybe even playing ahead of him to begin with. I think he's not had too much football per se, but it's a very difficult role to learn in the Premier League. Some people, at a young age, 18, 19, 20, 21, they have it down already, but that's rare. Most players develop into themselves over time. So I'd be really happy with this, especially if the prices are right, especially if we're talking £40 million, because in 2024, that's quite a low.
Yeah. I wanted to add to what you said. What you said is fantastic.
Goal scoring, yeah.
What you said is fantastic. I actually think Ivan Toney, okay, forget the jokes and the toxics and all the stuff. On a real note, on a footballing note, Ivan Toney to Manchester United offers something completely different than every player they have. He offers flexibility, adaptability. If you hire the Zerbi, which is, if the news are right, if what I'm hearing is right, and Nagelsmann is going to go back to Bayern Munich, and the Zerbi is the one who's going to be linked to Manchester United, the Zerbi likes sometimes to play with 2 forward players. The plan isn't only 4-3-3. Ivan Toney with Rasmus Højlund, I think Rasmus Højlund will learn from him. I think they can play with each other. I think he provides a new way of playing that Man United don't have. And I think he suits Manchester United. I think he is with the age profile that you have, with the Amads, you know what I mean, with the Rasmus Højlunds, with Kobe Mainoo. I think someone like Ivan Toney would be very, very good, at least to be an experienced player along Bruno Fernandes. I think if he provides a lot of options. He's a very, very good player. I like him. I don't think he suited Arsenal, the position-based team. I think he suits more maybe someone like playing that in a transition-based football, or someone that moves quick. I don't know, but I think Ivan Toney suits Manchester United more than Arsenal, in my opinion. Someone like Alexander Isak suits Arsenal more. I think Ivan Toney, if he goes to Man United, I think it will be a massive success for you. Massive.
Arsenal can't afford Isak, in my opinion. The price that they're going to want. And this thing, Watkins and Isak, I think are both going to be very expensive. If that's true, we're talking between 30 and 50 million. Even based on what you said, Mo, about him being a better fit for Man United, just on that price alone, if I'm Arsenal, you're
get him
like a quarter of the price, then you'd get potentially a quarter of the price than you pay for an Isak.
I think Arsenal are going for the guy that I don't know his name. I can't pronounce his name. The guy that plays for Sporting Lisbon, Djursek or whatever his name is. The guy that scores goals left and right.
Eucharist, yeah.
Eucharist. I don't know why Arsenal moved on from Ivan Toney, but I think it's because of the age profile. They don't want to sign someone who's 29 years old. They want someone who is a little bit younger. I don't think, and this is why I don't think Ollie Watkins is on the table for them. I don't think Ollie Watkins would leave Aston Villa to go to Arsenal just because of the price, and because unless Arsenal offer him a 4-year contract, which I don't think is going to happen. He's not going to go to Arsenal and get like a 2-year contract or something. I think Ivan Toney to Man United makes a lot of sense. A kind of like a relegation club to a mid-table club is a good move for Ivan Toney. It's very, very good. Depends where Man United are next season. Depends what they get as a manager. But I like it. I'm excited. As a neutral, I'm actually very excited about seeing Ivan Toney at Man United.
But we don't know where they're going to be.
I'm joking. I actually think I don't want to see bad players go to Manchester United. I want to see Manchester United maybe not win titles, but I don't want to see Manchester United being ninth, because I believe they're going to finish 8th this season. I want to see Man United be like 6th or 7th or 5th, something like this.
They could potentially be in the Conference League next season. Do you think that's going to impact signings? You think Ivan Toney, just the pool of Man United is going to override that, and there could be competition from other clubs. Like I said, Chelsea, if they do end up making up ground, and they're not that, we've got a game in hand, they could finish above Man United. There's so many variables.
Do you know what? I think, look, being in the Conference League or the Europa League, I know that Ivan Toney's always said he wants the Champions League, but Chelsea are an option, but they look like they're not going to have the Champions League either. If Arsenal are pulling away, it changes the landscape. I think if Arsenal go in for him, it's going to be hard for Man United because they've got that Champions League guaranteed for next year. We don't. But if Ivan Toney's faced with the rebuild at Man United or staying at Brentford, I think he's going to come to Manchester United. I think that because it's either going to be that or a new deal. And that's essentially his last chance at playing for a giant club. And I know Man United are not in a good position right now, but there is still a different expectation and pressure and attention that you get playing for a team like Man United, with all due respect to Brentford, as compared to them. And so I don't think there'll be an issue with signing players like him. We're also linked to a few other individuals that I think are really worthwhile, like fans focusing on. Paulinho is another player that Man United are very, very keen on this summer from Fulham. Again, I know we want younger players coming in, but we've seen what happened. I keep seeing people go no to it today. He's too old. Look, yes, it's great to go and buy lots and lots of youngsters, but we've seen another team do that in the Premier League and it hasn't worked. So I can't fathom this idea that we shouldn't buy experienced players. We're linked to Thuram. Obviously, he's at Nice. You'd think that would be a little bit easier for Man United to get done because of the connections there. But if we were to add a Paulinho and a Thuram to the squad, maybe a Toney and a Branthwaite, those 4 deals and maybe a couple of youngsters year one, with 5 or 6 players leaving, plus the fringe players that are even out on loan at the minute. You do that year one, bring in the right manager, start off with a good style of football. I think year one we could have a good season. We're only like a few wins away from being in top 4 contention this year when we're crap. You add 4 or 5 additional players that are good. We fix that culture. Fixing the culture will take a summer or so. It won't take long. There'll be moments where the ownership have to come in and push hard, but it doesn't take long to flush out the nonsense at a football club if you kind of start on the right foot, as it were. So I don't think United have a problem signing players. What we can't do is be stupid and spend £150 million on one player, because that would waste too much of the budget. And of course, we've got no chance of signing the absolute best in the world in certain positions right now when everybody's competing for them. I don't see that. As much as I would love that to be true, that isn't going to be plausible for us. But Ivan Toney's, Thuram's, Paulinho's, we can.
Who's your favorite manager, Terry? Who's your favorite manager to come to Man United now?
My favorite,
the ones that are available. Don't tell me Xabi Alonso, like he's not available.
My favorite out of the so
there is De Zerbi. You're linked to De Zerbi.
Yeah. So we're linked to De Zerbi, but nothing concrete, right? So the top, you got Southgate, who's currently the favorite with the bookmakers, believe it or not. You got Southgate, Potter, De Zerbi,
yes,
that we're linked to.
McKenna,
Kieran McKenna as well. Those are the 4 names. Yeah. The scene, though, is plausible. Tuchel's name's on the betting odds, but I don't think Man United will approach him. That's kind of it. It's those 4. Of those 4 managers, I'm siding more. It would go in it for me personally. It would go De Zerbi, Potter, McKenna, Southgate.
Okay.
Southgate's at the bottom of the pile because I don't like his brand of football.
Yeah.
The other 3 play a brand of football I like. I'm not over the moon about any of them. I'm not sitting there going, yeah, that's amazing. But I think it's a situation that Manchester United are in. And I keep pointing this out to Man United fans that don't want to wake up and smell the coffee. Almiron was high on our list, but he's going Liverpool. We were interested in Nagelsmann, but he's going back to Bayern Munich. We can't compete with these clubs at the minute because of how far we've fallen from grace. Yeah. And I know we're Man United by name and we have money, but a lot of people are reluctant to take us on because there are no guarantees that the improvements we're promising will come to life. So I almost feel like Graham Potter, though, the reason why he's starting to stand out more as a better candidate, even over De Zerbi, is he knows and has a relationship with all the people that are going to be running our club. So if you need someone who's going to have a good relationship with them, feel supported, unlike he was at because he wasn't supported at Chelsea, that may be the best option based on the whole situation.
Disagree. You need a manager that will make men out of these boys. You need a manager that will control someone like Bruno Fernandes. You need a manager that will control. I don't think Graham Potter is the guy. Like, to be honest, from what I have seen, he isn't that guy. De Zerbi might be the guy. Like, you hear Kevin Prince Boateng talk about him and how controlling he is and how strict he is. And I believe what he said, because it's not only from him, from Italian journalists. They say that De Zerbi is so strict. It's very strict that you cannot breathe. You might need that guy. You might need someone like De Zerbi. You might need someone who is going to have a whip, like who's not going to let players roam and do stuff. You're not, you can have that manager when the players mature already. You can have the manager like Ancelotti, for example, isn't that strict. You can have Ancelotti when your players are mature. I think some of your players they need the whip, to be honest.
Well, I think some of them
the whip is just like a way of saying you need a strict manager. You need someone who isn't going to allow people to have egos and who isn't going to allow people to just do what they want.
Your point there is a great one. Someone in the comments says Terry's stuttering. And you are right, I'm stuttering. Why I'm stuttering is because I am not sure about who I want. So when I start going, Potter, at the same time, it's going, no, De Zerbi's better for this reason. And then I think, but would he handle the pressure? And then I go, but Potter's in the same situation. I'm stuttering because my brain is consistently going in circles. Because for me, there isn't an outstanding candidate where I go, it has to be him. I think there are pros and cons with each of the managers that we're linked with. I'm at peace with the fact that we're not going to go out and get one of the best managers in the world. I'm very much at peace with that. And I understand the reasons as to why. I agree with your point on Graham Potter, and that's my biggest concern with him. Does he have the personality to handle the pressure of Man United and the players? For a while, my theory was we can't have if he struggled at Chelsea. Then you get a lot of Chelsea fans that tell me, but Terry, we didn't support him. It was a car crash. There was no support. It was just sort of hung out to dry. So when you hear Chelsea fans defending him in that way, I think, well, maybe I'm a little bit wrong. But it's a difficult one for me. I'm really on the fence with it. We need a new manager. Am I overjoyed with everybody we're being linked to? No. There are big question marks in certain areas over all of them. But I do trust the people that we're appointing to run the club. When you look at their track records and their CVs. So this is where I'm really conflicted. And I'm conflicted because they don't excite me, these managers.
Yeah, of course.
But I like the people that are running the club. So there's a part of me that's just saying, I almost feel like stepping back. I'll give an opinion, but I'm very open-minded. I'm not going to make any crazy statements about any of those managers of he's going to be sacked by December. We're going to go backwards. We're going to be awful. Nothing's going to improve. I'm not making any statements like that because I just don't know, because the people we've employed excite me. They're people that are top level and big clubs have been after them for a long time and still are. I've worked with some of the biggest clubs, been involved with some of the biggest associations. So I sort of want to sit back and for a little while, let professionals do their job, which we haven't had do their job at United for a decade. So that's where, do you get where I'm coming from?
Before Lolis comes in, I want to throw a question, and then Lolis can answer that. The question that I keep asking myself, and I ask all the Man United fans, can Man United afford to get it wrong, Lolis? Because I don't think so. If they get the next appointment wrong, can they afford that? How back will they fall behind?
I think it's Man United. I think as much as any club can afford to get it wrong, it's the Premier League. I think if they get it wrong and other clubs end up overtaking them, they're going to eventually drop. But I think there'll always be an opportunity. I think Man United, how far they can potentially fall is around about where they've been. I think if they get it wrong again, then they'll find themselves in a similar position, 7th and 8th, and then they can always, improve from there. I think the key thing for them, talking about managers and signings, the most important thing is who's going, who you're getting rid of. because you talk about getting a tough manager that can crack the whip. They've had that. They've had that in the likes of Jose Mourinho. Until they get rid of the old guard, the Luke Shaws, the Rashfords, the Maguires, the McTominays, it don't matter. Like it's always going to be an issue. Do you know what I mean? And if they get rid of that, start to bring in a new manager, some new players, maybe they're not going to be good this season, but maybe there'll be some positivity around the club. It's that toxicity, I think, that needs to be removed. So, yeah, like I think if they get it wrong, we're not going to know that for a few seasons, ideally, because they're going to want to see is, okay, first season, but let's see some progress. And then let's see some signs. Like you said, Terry, you know, the football's improved. You know, maybe we're not winning each week, but we're seeing signs of a style of play being implemented that people can at least get behind. Whereas, you know, you want to see the owners are going to be decisive if those signs ain't there. So you don't have a good few years of falling behind and they're able to just pull the trigger if it ain't looking like it's going where you want it.
This comment here from Dino says Ineos did say they are going to employ a system at the club where the manager, as we call him, just handles coaching the club's defined playing style. And for me, that's why I'm not panicking about a Graham Potter. I'm not panicking about a De Zerbi like some would, because what we're doing differently this time around, I hope, is we're not bringing somebody in to go, right, because this is what we've done to every manager since Fergie. Right, you're coming in to manage the club. Yes, they've had people that have done the dog work for them in terms of the negotiating or this or that, but we typically let every manager, when they first come in, get the players they want. Then when we don't deliver the results they expect, we start pulling that power away, but we delegate it to bankers and accountants and marketing experts, and it's always been a mess. So,
and you have to start from scratch every time a new manager comes in. They rip up what the last manager did, and start again. This way,
the element that Man United
if you have to sack the next manager,
that's part of the reason why I want rid of Ten Hag, because Ten Hag has built for 2 years and spent money trying to build only, by the way, this is where we're so disjointed as a club. We're building the first team, which is you'd argue the most important section of the men's side of the game at Man United. We're building it in the image of what Ten Hag wants, but it doesn't match the rest of the football club. So I feel like we have forget how good or bad he's done. Unless we're going to take that style, which by the way looks awful at the moment, and implement it across the whole club, you've got to remove it, because your under fives, girls and boys team need to play in the same identity as both the male and female first team. That is how the top clubs operate, and they have done for a long time. Man United operated that way under Fergie because the whole club was set in his image. But ever since him, we give everybody Fergie's reign and almost Fergie's power, and they just don't get it right. And we're not doing that this time round, we hope. We're hoping now you're coming in to coach the first team, and this is how we play football at Man United. Your coaching credentials meet that. Go and handle it. That way, if the manager fails, it should just be bring another coach in, as opposed to another new rebuild, another 300, 400 million being spent. So to answer your question, Mo, we need to get it right. But I think there's more chance of this project working, even with a fouled manager or two, than what we've seen in the last decade, based on what we've heard so far. But I remain skeptical is I need to see proof in the pudding we're doing that. Does that make sense? They've said all the right things, but I'm remaining level-headed on it until we actually see proof in that lied. Terry, he was lied to on many fronts, and I'm not advocating keeping or sacking him, but your narrative regarding his non-Ajax style is important. But it isn't my narrative, it's what he has told us. How we are playing now is how he says he wants to play. Even with better players, emptying your midfield is still going to damage us. Nobody else does that. Why does no other manager who's successful empty their midfield? Like, I understand there's elements that can be argued, but listen to what he says himself. Plus, look at the structure. Forget how good or bad he is. Only one element of the club is being developed to play Ten Hag's way. Not the academy, not the reserve team, no other areas. How is that a conducive way to run? It means players will come out of our academy and they'll go into our first team, and it's a completely opposing ideology of football. It's actually stupid to run a football club that way. That's why we need the change, brother. It's not even about Ten Hag, the individual. It really, really is. Terry, with respect, do you even listen to yourself? Yes, I do. And the reason why I listen to myself, Twisted, is everything Ineos have done since they've entered the club is exactly what I predicted they would do and exactly what I said needs to happen. Now, I understand you could call that confirmation bias. Oh, they've done what I've said. It must be the right thing to do. But they're also echoing the actions of all the other successful clubs in the world. So I am going to stick by what I've been spouting for the last 10 years, not based on my own knowledge. It's my theory based on what I read all the other top clubs do. So, yes, I do listen to myself. And if you want to debunk me, come show your face on camera and tell me why I am wrong. The super chat here says, Man United have proven over the years under different managers they can take Mbappe and turn him into Eddie Nketiah. A player with ambition shouldn't go to Man United. I understand where you're coming from that. So who should we sign then? This is the only issue with that. It's shrouded so much in a rival's thought process on it, because that means no one wants to sign for us, which means we might as well shut the club.
I think that's fair. I think that's, you should try, but he shouldn't go. Yeah,
Ivan Toney is not a superstar. Why do people treat Ivan Toney as a superstar? He's just not. He plays for Brentford. The media made Arsenal links made him that. Chelsea links. By the way, if Arsenal and Chelsea pull away from this, well, who's in for him? Who do we think is going to sign him? It's Manchester United, or maybe West Ham will go in for him to sign him instead of Antonio for 40 million. Maybe West Ham will say, "Well,
man, we are linked.
Why do people treat players based on the media hype? The guy has played for Brentford 2 years in the Premier League. 1 year, half of it he's suspended, and the rest is in the Championship. Scores goals left and right, but he's not a superstar. He's not."
No, but sometimes players, you talk about that pressure, that Man United pressure. Sometimes players, don't rise to it, and it's not just that the way the club's run hasn't helped players, but sometimes you go, well, if he goes there, he's a good player, but will it work out for him? If he goes there and he flops at Man United, whether it's his fault or his own, and he's on high wages and he's just left to sort of rot, then maybe he's better at taking a slightly step down and being the main man, a bigger fish in a smaller pond, maybe. Maybe that's
listen. I think I understand where people are coming from with what they say, but it's just never the reality. For a decade now, every summer it's been United won't sign people, can't sign people, nobody will want to go there. It's never quite been the case. And a lot of people will be bought into the idea of being part of a rebuild at Man United, because if you're part of a group that gets us back to challenging, there's a status in that's almost unattainable for a lot of these players anywhere else. This is the thing about Ineos that I like, is they bring in credibility from the footballing world, but I think Erik ten Hag will be here next year because the managers available aren't supremely better than him. Listen, if he's here next year, I'd be really intrigued to see how it works. And if he is here, I hope it works.
Would you back him?
I don't have an agenda. My agenda is Man United become better. If my opinion is wrong, I don't nail down the agenda. I go, great, we've got better, which is my agenda. My opinion was wrong. I'm now going to get on board with it. I'm really not married to the opinion. I'm married to the agenda that I want Man United to get better.
I think you should almost have to re-interview for the position, like where they're talking, and basically just say, why do you think that you fit into our new vision of
I agree.
How we want Man United to be?
Rest in peace, Angry Rant Man. Was a great man and a great personality through his family. We're going to talk about that a little bit more at the end of the show. I've seen a lot of super chats come in relation to him as well. But yeah, 110%. I heard the news this morning. I only streamed with him a couple of times a few years ago, but a really lovely, lovely man, and very, very sad news indeed. But we're going to touch on that more later in the show. Terry, listen, the change has already begun, but it will take some time to show. It's the first team squad that needs gutting. You can see these changes in the youth teams. What I will say is this about things changing. Watch Crystal Palace's style of football after a month. That shouldn't take 2 years for us to see. You should be able to see a change in attitude, behavior, and style of football within games. It should just be there. You 100% should see it. Us becoming title contenders again, winning titles, that's going to take time, I agree. You don't watch the under-18s. That's all the watch. Again, I don't watch it anymore because I don't give the club any money. But how do I know this? Because it's been reported on strenuously by journalists very close to the football club for many, many years that there's no path through it. So watching the football is irrelevant. I know it to be true. Ten Hag is not the man. Sorry, is not the man. The reason being managed. Sorry, Ten Hag is not. Sorry, I think it means the main reason. Being managing players that come in and remove the old, but his man management is bad, so won't progress.
He's not the man, comma, the reason being he's not the man. Players that come in and remove stuff.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Terry, what do you think of letting Bruno go and signing a very young, hungry player like Gibbs White? Gibbs White, don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if he's that level. He's good when he's playing against a team nobody sits back against. I'm not sure if he can do it at a bigger club, but I'm not adverse to anybody other than Main. I'm married to the idea of not letting Mainu go. Garnacho potentially, Rasmus potentially, but everybody else, I'm open to the idea. If that individual doesn't fit the style of play the new owners pick, they go. I'm not married to any one particular player.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, that's in my opinion, is the worst captain ever in the Premier League, as far as I can remember. Ever. I've never seen a worse captain in my life.
And by
the way, I don't go to the stadium, so I don't know what happens. I'm basing it on what I watch.
I'm not going to argue on this. I'm just, as I've said, my agenda is I want Man United to get better.
All right.
And if he doesn't fit what the new owners want, then he can go. I'm not married to anybody other than the young players that haven't been here that long. I'm sort of more married to the idea of them staying because I think they're more. I want to use the word malleable and coachable.
Who needs to go, Terry? Like rather than not just
who needs to go? Like right now, in my head, in my heart, it hurts me to say it, but I think Rashford needs to go. The usual suspects that are not playing, of course, that the Van der Beeks, the Martials, have all got to go. Who else I think really has got to go? I think Varane, and people get annoyed you mention him first. I don't think he can play 2 games per week. I think you need to look beyond him, as brilliant as he is. Maguire has got to go. Lindelof has got to go. We really need new right backs and left backs at the club. The issue that we have is there's so many that have got to go. They're not all going to go in one summer because you can't get rid of 15 players and sign 15. So you then have to prioritize. So I look at Varane as an example. And if we go out and buy, say it's Branthwaite and Lissandro's fit for the whole season, then maybe you keep Varane for another year if we can extend. But his deal runs out, and he might want a new 3 or 4 year deal, and I think that would be crazy when you look at his current injury record. So maybe you have to let him go and keep Maguire, but Maguire ends up being 3rd or 4th choice. The problem is with a lot of Man United fans, we never look beyond the end of our nose. We see it as, oh my God, we rate Maguire more than Varane. It's nothing about rating him more or less. It's about what does Varane demand? Do you get value for money on giving a player who does get injured a lot a 4-year deal? Are you better off letting him go and spending that money on another player, having someone like Maguire as a 3rd or 4th choice for another year and then moving them on? Those are the decisions that need to be made. My one fear with Man United fans is that we're so, and I don't actually think that they're too dense to understand that. Some people just like to be angry. So they see it as, oh my God, Ineos think Maguire or Lindelof's better than Varane. No, they don't. But they have to look at the situation. You can't let too many players leave, and that's where you need to be. You need to be careful. But Terry Gold
need to accept that they will take losses at some point.
No, I understand that. I understand.
And Ineos have to spend the money. Like you have to know that you need to sell Anthony and get someone better than him, and you're going to take the hit.
So this here says Goldbridge did it on Monday and listed players which had to go, and he named 14. And by the way, there are quite a lot that have to go. And I'm talking about the 23 players in their current squad. So forget all the people out on loan. That's additional numbers. They're not in the team right now. Out of everyone in the squad right now, you can probably afford to lose 7 or 8 of them, maybe 9 max, because of squad. You can't get rid of 15. And then buy 15 players. It's going to take too long. It's just too much overhaul. Every club we see do that really struggles. Again, look at Chelsea. It doesn't work. Look at Forest last year. It's such a mess. You have to be a little bit more pragmatic about it and weigh things up. So there will be players in the squad next year that are on everyone's list have got to go. But they're going to have to go over a 2 to 3 year period. But some Man United fans know that. They'll ignore it just so they can be angry, because that's the only way they ever get attention.
The problem is some of them that have to go, you can't get rid of because of how high their wages are and how poor they've been.
And length of contracts and all of that plays a part. Again, sometimes if you can't get a bidder, what are you going to do? Like, at the end of the day, what are you going to do if nobody bids? It's that.
I'll tell you what you do. You get a manager that will increase the value of them, like a De Zerbi.
Well, but this is
like
this
a De Zerbi. You get a manager like someone like De Zerbi who plays a brand of football that looks very good on the eye.
True.
So players come in the winter,
again,
like Wan-Bissaka. As long as
Mo, but that's doable. If we had a manager in now that had a very good structure in and out of possession, we would look better. Individuals look better, and you can sell them. The problem is when the system's poor and the team looks poor, it impacts the players, and we know this because Sheffield United play better football than we do, but no one's paying £50 million for their midfielders. They look a little bit better in a really tight system than our players. So yeah, you are right on that, boys.
I don't think that's possible with Anthony. Sorry, I know you want to move on.
I hear you on that. Listen, a lot of people mentioning Angry Rant Man. Of course, I know. I tweeted about it this morning. We're going to touch on it later on during the show, people. Okay. Mark here says rubbish. It's not true. It's not rubbish. The system's better. It makes players look better. You get more money for them. There's a reason why Liverpool are able to sell the likes of Jordan Ibe for so much money, because their system looks strong and players look better in it than they really were. It's always what happens. This is the funniest one from Twisted Bubba of the day. Stop blaming the employees of your club. I will blame some. I think it's a mixture, isn't it? Again, you're so weird, Twisted Bubba. I know you want attention.
I don't understand.
But you got your attention. Let's move on anyway. Let's move on. We're going to speak Arsenal in a minute, but I want to start with the City game. City are favourites tonight. But one thing I was thinking about a lot today is Jude Bellingham. This is such a stage for Jude Bellingham. I know he's at Real Madrid, and I know he's killed it this year, and everyone's loving him. But it's a Champions League game in England. He's English against the best team in the world. Did anyone see him hurt in Man City tonight? Did anyone see him being the star performer in the same way Mbappe was last night, in the same way as we've seen other young players over our lifetime in the Champions League sort of stand up in these big Champions League matches? Do you think it could be Jude Bellingham's night and Real Madrid's night tonight, or will City come out on top?
I've said all along, Man City will go through and it's at their ground, but I think Bellingham will definitely have a good showing tonight. I think he's a quality player, and I think he's going to be a big part of why Real Madrid push Man City to the limit. Like you said, this is a big stage because it's quarterfinal with the Champions League against the Premier League side, against the best team in world football right now. All eyes are going to be on it, and all eyes are going to be on him, and it's up to him to rise to the occasion. But I think Man City will just have a bit too much for Real Madrid. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be the game to watch, I think.
No, it's not Bellingham's game today. I actually don't think it's Bellingham's game at all. I actually don't think it suits him at all, in my opinion. Every time I'm watching him, he's a very good player in a Real Madrid team, but I think this game needs more of a Rodrigo and Vinny. I don't think it's Bellingham's game. It's not a position. They are not going to have position. Like Bellingham isn't the quickest guy on the pitch. I think they would do with another midfielder in there instead of him. I'm not sure who they have. They have Camavinga, Tchouameni suspended. They can play Modric or something. I think Bellingham shouldn't start. Just my opinion. As good as he is, not this game. Not this game. I really don't think this game he should start. It's the same we saw in the first game. At his ground, he got eaten alive by that midfield. In my opinion. And I think he shouldn't start. I think they should start other midfielders. Yes, he played Modric or something like this. Someone to control more. In my opinion, I think Vinny and Rodrigo should play on the counter-attack. This is what I think. Tactically, I actually don't think. I think he's a very, very good player. Probably, arguably, one of the best youngsters around in the world at the moment. But you gotta just look at the game and individual. If Real Madrid unless Real Madrid are gonna go to the Etihad and dominate position, seriously, I think people don't watch Bellingham and don't know. People just don't know. Some of Real Madrid games I watched, I think Rodrigo and Vinny Jr.'s pace should be the go-to thing today. Not Jude Bellingham, unless Man City are gonna give them position, which I don't think it's gonna happen. Listen, if Bellingham plays and bowls, I'll be surprised. In my opinion, I'll be surprised in this game at the Etihad. I'll be surprised. He can get at the end of things, but I think there are other players that should play ahead of him at the current moment for this Real Madrid team, in my opinion. I don't see this is the game for Real Madrid to actually play Bellingham and have all the weight on his shoulder. I know you guys are talking, he's coming to England and he's playing against Man City, the club he should have gone to, or Liverpool. I'm looking at it from a completely different perspective. I think it should be counter-attacking football, Rodrigo and Vinny. I don't know why you guys are laughing.
Your perspective is Real Madrid have got to drop their player of the season.
Actually, he isn't player of the season. Vinny is.
Okay.
Vinny Jr. is. And I also just have to understand something. Tactically, Real Madrid need to... I don't think Real Madrid have anything on Man City today. Nothing, especially with Kyle Walker being fit. Man City haven't lost at the Etihad. Man City haven't lost in Europe in like 3 years at their ground. Man City haven't lost, I think, since 2022 against Brentford at their ground. And Man City went to the Bernabeu and played arguably same to Real Madrid. They have their chances. I genuinely think Jude Bellingham shouldn't start the game. Wallahi.
That. You know, I'm not surprised. But that is a Mo take.
Bro.
That's a big take. It's a big shout.
I swear he should have started the game. Have you guys watched him? Have you guys watched him?
If Mo was in charge of like picking Jamaica's Olympic team for the 2012 Olympics, he'd have dropped Usain Bolt. He said, "Nah, not
That's
for you."
How you look at it?
Too much pressure. You're the best runner, but it's too much pressure.
You guys are sensitive because it's English. You guys are pretty sensitive.
To do with him being English. It's to do with him being he is a match-winning player.
Okay, let's actually deep this. Has he played better in the first game, or did he stink up the pitch?
I don't think he stunk up the pitch.
Was he playing up to his level at all?
No, but so hang on a minute. So by that logic, Haaland didn't play very well in the first game. Should he be dropped?
Yeah, but Haaland offers something else.
Well, people say he offers nothing else but goals.
Okay, so why not drop? Why not?
Why would? Because you don't drop.
Because I don't get. Listen, Bellingham is a Modric.
You don't drop Bellingham with how good he is. Now listen. I haven't finished my point yet, Mo. You don't drop Bellingham with his match-winning ability, his goal-scoring ability, his playmaking ability, his quality on the ball, just because in the first leg he had an average game. Because that doesn't constitute dropping him, in my personal opinion.
Do you have other players that can play? Do you have Modric that can control the game with them, even though he's older?
Last season, when they put Toney Kroos and Modric in the midfield together, did you see what happened?
Yeah, but Bellingham doesn't defend tactically. He doesn't. So what are you going to do? You're going to play 3 attackers? Rodrigo?
It's about having more energy. They need... Their biggest issue last year was not enough speed and energy in that midfield. They've already got... I know he played in defence in the last game, but Tchouaméni is out through suspension as an example. Yes. They need that speed. I think Modric will play an important part later on in the game, potentially. I think if he goes out there against this City team at the Etihad, at his age now, as brilliant as he is on the ball, I think Modric just gets steamrolled because of the athleticism and speed and youth in comparative to his age out there. Bellingham has got to start this match.
He's gonna. You guys will see. He's gonna start.
They've got to manage their bench because this game could potentially go to extra time.
He's gonna start. Like I don't think he's gonna actually be the match winner today at all.
Well, you obviously the other player in the
I like him though. I just don't think he is the guy.
The other player over here, the papers are talking up it's Jude versus Phil Foden. Could this be a night, Dan, where Phil Foden? I mean, he scored a great goal in the first leg, but could it be a night where Phil Foden? I already feel like he's arrived, but could this almost be the night where he really arrives, where he puts in one of those performances that people remember for many, many years?
Yeah, do you know what? I think he's arrived in terms of people acknowledging him as a really good player, but I don't think he's arrived as being like one of the big players, like a De Bruyne level caliber type player, where each week, this guy, if something's going to happen, it's going to be Phil Foden. And tonight is a big stage for him to prove that out, because that's what I want to see from Foden. Because Foden he's a quality player, but I think it's
I'll just
time
stop
for
you
him
for a
to
minute.
step
I'll
up.
stop you for a minute. Sorry, I
Yeah.
have to apologize. I think I referred to Modric as Mudric from Chelsea. Brain fart moment. I apologize for disrespecting Luca in that way. I'm so sorry. The only similarity is blonde hair, so I apologize massively.
Oh,
Sorry. Back to you, Lola. Back to you.
Yeah, so yeah, no, like I said, I still think that Foden has something to prove. Do you know what I mean? As good as he is, I want to see him be that heir apparent to being the main man at Man City. And if he can be the match winner today, then yeah, you know what I mean? And cement, because that obviously, Southgate aside, you know, there's certain players like Foden that haven't really got to cement themselves, certain positions that are still fluid at the moment in the England team. So yeah, man, I think it's a huge game for Foden today, and it'd be good to see him really, really step up. You know, with De Bruyne.
But he stepped up already. Why are you doubting him?
I'm talking about on a consistent basis, because he has had these periods. I think he goes through these sort of quiet periods and then he steps up. Whereas you look at someone like a De Bruyne, who has been the main man, who has been the match winner, who's been consistent for years. I'm still, as much as I think he's going to be world class, Foden, I think he will be.
But there's 10 years difference than them.
What's that?
There's 10 years difference in age between them.
Difference? What's that?
There's 10 years difference in age between them, between Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
I get where Dan's coming from. I don't think it's playing him down. I think Phil Foden is world class. I think he's amazing. I've seen him score. We saw it in the first leg, that great goal. That was at the Bernabeu. I feel like, though, sometimes what players need, and this is mainly from I don't think he needs it in the footballing world. He might need it from the fans' perspective in the footballing world, and not City fans because they love him. But that night where he's the main guy, especially at this point. And, you know, I remember as a United fan, I remember Wayne Rooney's, I remember Ryan Giggs's, I remember Paul Scholes, you know, being brilliant against Barca, scoring that wonderful volley that put us through as an example. There are sometimes just certain nights that players have that propel you to another level in football. We saw Mbappe last night, I know, a penalty and an open play goal, you know, step up and just be the man and make himself be counted. And I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued tonight because that's what, again, you've got to go on to win these trophies, of course, but it's how legacies are built. So, I mean, that's why I'm looking at him and Jude. It may end up not being either of those two. It could be Vinicius Jr. It could be the night where Haaland silences loads of critics by banging a hat-trick in against Real Madrid and knocking them out of the Champions League. How many people can attest to doing that as an example? But I'm really excited about this game. There's individuals that can entertain us and have these big nights. Do either of you see Real Madrid pulling this off? Do any of you see Real Madrid?
No, but I want them to go
shocking the
through.
world.
No, but I want them to go through. For the good of football, they need to go through.
For the expand on that. What do you mean for the good?
Bro, I can't have another triple, bro. I can't. Arsenal and Liverpool completely let us down in the league.
Do you think that would be a back-to-back treble? That would be a good
who cares about achievements? I support Inter. I had one treble. I don't want another team to have another
Dan,
treble.
I mean this with respect, Dan, and please, I know you won't take it the wrong way because you're headed, but because you're West Ham, you don't quite get it. And what I mean by that is, do you truly believe that your club could ever win a treble?
No.
So because my club's got one, seeing another team do back-to-back trebles,
it ruins mine, bro.
But wait, you can't win the same treble. Like, you can't get a Premier League, a Champions League, and FA Cup. It's a different treble. Even though it's treble.
What do you mean? I don't get what you're saying. I'm sorry. This is the same
Your
treble.
I can. You can. Terry, I understand completely. Rivals but your treble, Mo, is not the same treble. So you're not even
the same exact one. It's the same.
It's not because you're not
in the league.
It's a league, yeah, and it's your cup.
I think you're not getting it.
But Lawless, this is what I mean by that. So this is the thing, right?
This is what Terry was talking about.
So this is what it comes. This is how I view it anyway, and I want to see if Mo echoes this, and I'm sure the other treble-winning clubs feel the same. Some clubs have got more. I think Barca have got 2 trebles.
Yeah,
but it's still, they're not back to back. But those that team of Barca's is probably looked at as people view that Barca team that's done its 2 trebles as the greatest club team of all time. Now, if City do back-to-back, they will be crowned, I know it, the greatest club team of all time. Now, to surpass what they've done, your team's going to either have to do back-to-back in a better way, or as a core group, do 3 trebles.
Or a quadruple or something like this.
Yeah,
like.
don't you think that elevates the game, though? Don't you think that elevates football?
You're going to get me going on a rant here like I did yesterday, and no.
Hang on one sec, Mo, let me finish, and I'll go back to you. Mo's wrong. It's not for the good of football. It's for the good of us, right? Yeah. That's where Dan's right. It will elevate the game. But as Man United, as Inter, as Barca fans, and even clubs that haven't done a treble yet, you can't want to see it because then they've set the bar. And it might be 100 years until someone ever does a back-to-back treble. So City get to sit on that mantle that whole time. Anyone whose club is at the end of the spectrum where they either have in the past, currently challenging for, or will in the future for those big trophies, you can't want to see it. And I don't mean it to sound patronizing to smaller. I think it's just a different feeling.
And let me ask you this then, Mo, and I'll really, especially because what you're saying is your treble is equal to Man City's treble. It's the same thing,
Barcelona,
right?
they're all the same.
If Leverkusen go undefeated and win a treble, do they completely blow Arsenal's Invincibles out of the water? In fact, even if they just won the league and win Invincible, but won more games than Arsenal did, is that team better than Arsenal's Invincibles?
But they can't win a treble. They're not even in the Champions League.
No, but okay, it's a lesser treble, but still they've got 3 trophies. Arsenal,
you have to win the Champions League. This is what.
Okay, no, but it's not the treble. That's not what he said. It's not what he said.
It's a treble.
For me, I don't even do that language. For me, I think the language should be changed. There's only one treble, and that's the big national cup, your league and Champions League. But Dan Lawless's question is there Invincibles better than Arsenal's? And I have to concur. Yes. Because you're winning. And the reason I have to concur, and this is again, some Arsenal fans are just attacking us. No, what have I said all along? I think multiple trophy winning seasons are better than going invincible. So if they won all 3 and didn't go invincible, it's still better than an invincible season. But if you're invincible and you win all 3 competitions that you're in, it's one of the best seasons that we've seen in Europe. They're in the top 10 to 15 seasons in the history of Europe by doing that, in my opinion.
They're legit invincible because they've been unbeaten in every competition they've played.
Yeah, they're really legit invincible. Yeah, it's crazy. The only way it could be better is if they're in the Champions League. But it would be an amazing achievement. And listen, Arsenal fans won't think it's better. Of course they won't. It's their club. I won't think it's better than my club's treble. I don't think City's treble is better than my treble because it's mine. But objectively speaking, winning in Aston, by the way, it's not just winning it; it's winning it against the odds as well. Like what they've done is what Leicester did on crack, bruv. It's a madness what they've done.
Listen, do you know the tweet? Do you know when I said that Man City's treble is, if Arsenal win the double this season, is more impressive than City's treble last season, and people were mad.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
What is that based on?
As if you want to impress somebody, you gotta be not favorites. Man City last season, yes, it's better to win more trophies. It's a bigger achievement, right? I will never sit here and tell you 2 trophies is better than 3. But to be the favorites for every competition and winning a treble, if Arsenal, who aren't favorite for the Champions League, it's the first year to go into the after 7 years, and they aren't favorites to win the league, if they win a double, which is it's not likely, I'm just saying a hypothetical, it's more impressive achievement, more impressive, right? I'm trying to find the right word than Man City's treble last season.
But you can say that about any team that weren't the favourites winning anything.
Yeah, so I understand your logic, but again, if Arsenal fans accept that logic, they can't then deny that Bayer Leverkusen, that were not tipped to win anything, doing an invincible treble, is better than their invincible season. So that's again, Arsenal fans who accept what Mo has just said, as far as I'm understanding it, by that definition, Bayer Leverkusen's treble, if they do it, if it's invincible, surpasses your invincibles.
Yeah,
but it does. If they win the Europa League with it and the cup with it, there is no reason. Because, by the way, Bayer Leverkusen cannot go and play in the Premier League.
I think there's 2 things there. Look, I understand where you're coming from, and that holds some water because it's an underdog thing. when it comes to, does it make them a better team than City's side? Does it make it, that's
They're not better team. They achieved, they climbed the higher mountain.
I understand. And I think we're having two different conversations here. We've got some super chats. The first one says, Mo, the master waffler. That's funny. To hear, long time no see, Mr. Khan. I hope you're well. He says, to be honest, I don't care if City win 2 trebles because I don't know a single City fan. I just don't want United, Arsenal, or Liverpool to win anything. My life would be hell. I hear that, and I do hear that a lot. I have to just disagree with you, though, Mr. Khan, on this. I know you're a long-time super chat, and I respect you massively. I just disagree. My view is I care a lot less about banter than I do history of football. And the actual history of the game matters a lot more to me than listening to a gal gloat or something like that. Other clubs went invincible after Arsenal, like Juve. Our pride is being invincible in the Prem, best league in the world. Listen, I think that you're the only ones who have done it in the Premier League era, only the second team to have done it in English football history. And we can't take away Preston's because there was less games, because that means you've got to remove from that era your trophies as well, because it's the same scenario and nobody would do that. So we have to keep it fair. But yeah, if Arsenal's achievements, if they were to do the Premier League, Champions League double this year because they were underdogs, it's better than last year's treble, then by definition, listen, I think that if they do this by Leverkusen, let's not compare it to any other club for a moment. If they do it, it is one of the greatest achievements in European football history. It will be, you get those articles that come out every year, greatest moments in European football. It will be in there. There'll be a paragraph or two about it forever. To win their first ever league title, I think it would be their first ever European title. And I don't even know how many. Let me just have a look at their club for a minute, because I want to make sure I get the facts right. Although
I think it was like 10 years ago they won a.
Let's look at their honours here.
I still stand by for the better football.
Yeah. Let's look at their honours. So. Yeah, they've never won the league before. In 1993, they won the Pokal, and they've never... No, they did. They won the Europa League in 1988. So it would be their second European trophy and their second Pokal. So they've won that, but their first ever league. To do that against all the odds, because no one was talking about them in the summer. It wasn't like people going, oh, watch out for Bayer Leverkusen this year. Yeah, crazy achievement if they do it. Score predictions for there's a question for you first, Mo, actually, before we do score predictions. Mo, that means Leicester's Prem is the best ever. Is it the best in your opinion?
It's one of the most impressive achievements ever in the history of the sport, in my opinion, in football, ever. But again, it depends. Like, there are other teams, like if Arsenal win the double this season, nobody tipped them to win the Champions League. But for example, Leicester, if Arsenal win the league this season, it's not as impressive as Leicester winning the league in the Premier League. You guys have to wait.
I think people have got to understand what Mo's saying. Mo's logic is it's the most impressive, not the best team. It's the most impressive achievement. They are two different conversations. And
so being an underdog and winning is more impressive, is what he said.
Yeah, that's it. Like being not the fastest guy and beating Usain Bolt.
If West Ham go on to win the Europa League, that's more impressive than Liverpool winning it.
Okay, yes.
I agree. It is. If Dortmund go on to win this year's Champions League, that's more impressive than City winning it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that. By the way, it's not that wild to say that.
I know. I get it. I'm on board. Doesn't mean better. It just means I get it. In terms of tonight's score predictions, Dan, what you going with, brother?
I'm gonna go a dramatic roller coaster of a 3-2 Man City. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
3-1 Manchester City.
3-1,
and we're gonna just see Manchester.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1. I want Bayern Munich. I'm an idiot. I want Real Madrid to win, but I don't think they will.
Any neutral fan should need that. Any neutral fan.
I agree. I want City's treble hopes dashed, bruv, because they're probably gonna win the Premier League now. So I need that done. They're probably gonna win the FA Cup as well when you look at the teams left in it. So I really feel like City as well. The only team left in this that can stop them is literally Madrid. So we need you, Madrid. We need you tonight. But I'm going with my prediction with my head on is Man City to go through. The other big game tonight, gents. Arsenal, whose fans are just, they are in I went on the train last night because I went into London to watch Lamar in concert. Brilliant. 20 years in the business. Amazing concert. Absolutely top class he was. Big up Lamar. 50-50 and all that.
Spurs fan, I believe. Isn't he?
He's a Spurs fan. Yes, he's a Spurs fan. He's born in North London. And there was a sign on one of the platforms of the train. I've been on train for years because I work in London no more. And I was staring out the window and there was a sign. It just said, if you need us, call the Samaritans now. And I thought of Arsenal fans and the way they've been in the last few days, right? And like, I thought to myself, they're in the dumps. But a lot of Arsenal fans have said to me all day today in my DMs, in the comment sections, we will rise tonight. Don Robbie doesn't think their journey is coming to an end. How do you, before we go on to how we see the game going, who's going to step up for Arsenal tonight? Will someone step? We spoke about Bellingham and Foden and Vinny. Who could step up for Arsenal tonight and make themselves a hero, Mo?
In my opinion, it has to be today. It has to be Kai Havertz, even though I don't believe it. Kai Havertz in Germany, playing for the German national team. I believe it's Kai Havertz. He should be stepping up. The others are expected to play well. I think it's Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz have to step up today. He has to play well. He has to offer them something. He has to play. He's playing against Eric Dyer and Matthias de Ligt. He has to step up today. This is it. This is when you justify your price tag. This is the day where he justifies his price tag. No. I'm not hearing Odegaard. I'm not hearing Saka. I'm Kai Havertz. 65 million is today where people have to sing the song for you. Do I believe it's going to happen? No, I don't. I believe Bayern are favorites. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal win. But I believe today it has to be Kai Havertz's game. What you did against Villa, Kai Havertz needs to be forgotten about. The missed opportunities and all the stuff that he did. He needs to step up today. Today, the forward.
Doesn't that depend where he's played, Mo? If he's played in the midfield or up front.
This is what people, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. Kai Havertz against Aston Villa, by the way, played in the midfield and had the most chances by running. But Mikel Arteta made him make late runs and runs in the behind the high line of Aston Villa. It doesn't matter where he plays today. By the way, I'm not sure if Odegaard is fit. If Odegaard isn't fit, it's going to be Declan Rice, Jorginho, and Kai Havertz, believe it or not. And Gabriel Jesus is going to start up top. And it is on Kai Havertz. When Gabriel Jesus drop, it is on Kai Havertz. I believe so. Today. Like, listen, Declan Rice, for people that want to flag Declan, he has been consistent. He has been the most consistent player in the Premier League, Declan Rice. Ratings don't lie. In my opinion, if Kai Havertz has to step up. If he drops a stinker today, Kai Havertz, I don't think they win. But if he rises, I think they win. It's about him today.
I think if Arsenal are relying on Havertz to step up to win this game, I think they're going to be sorely disappointed. I don't see that happening. I know you said you don't see it happening either, Mo, but for me, Odegaard, like you said, if Odegaard is missing, that's a huge loss because I think if anyone,
we don't know if he's missing.
He's good. I asked a few journalists about this. Their view is Odegaard and Saka will both be fit because they're both question marks over him.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to get Arsenal over the line in this game, I think it's going to be Odegaard. I think he's going to be the one to step up if anyone is, because I honestly can't see it being Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz will probably start. But yeah, he's just he's looked good in a few games. Chelsea fans will tell you they're not seeing much of a different Kai Havertz. Arsenal fans will tell you that Arsenal have transformed Kai Havertz. I'm still not a believer, but Odegaard, like if anyone, he's the guy for Arsenal. I think Saka does get a lot of the plaudits. I think he wasn't great. I think he's a class player, by the way, Saka, but I think he's been played into the ground by Arteta, and I think it might be catching up with him. So it's going to be a tough one. It'll be an important game for him to step up after the last performance. And then the whole controversy at the end, maybe he's going to want something to prove. It's going to be interesting, but Raya's key. Raya has to step up. Raya's, I think, going to be one of the most actual vital players in this game to keep them in it from a goalkeeper standpoint, because I think Arsenal are going to be the end of on the end of a lot of shots.
They could be. I mean, looking at who scored here, so maybe I know Alphonso Davies is out tonight. because he's injured. Again, that's that Saka. I don't know much about the who's going to step in for him, but up against the speed, I doubt they've got the speed of Alphonso Davies. So Saka should be looking at that and saying, right, opportunity. According to WhoScored.com, Kingsley Coman is out. Gnabry is out. We know that Sasha, I think it's pronounced Boli, is out. So they've got a few first-team players out, and they've definitely got a few players like the likes of Gnabry started the last game and scored. Koeman comes on and he kind of keeps the standard high because he's a good player. Again, Arsenal they're not the favourites to win this game because it's still in Munich, but there are chinks in the armor of this Bayern Munich team. This is such an opportunity for players like Saka, for Odegaard's. I don't think Kai Havertz in terms of performance, but maybe with a winning goal. Yes. Declan Rice as well. This is a time, we mentioned earlier about Foden doing it, but Foden's been in a brilliant team. We mentioned Jude Bellingham doing it at this stage. This is an opportunity for these guys to sort of not completely cement, but start getting that mixer on to show people like I belong at Champions League level. You go there tonight, Arsenal, and win 2-1, and Saka's great, scores a brace, Odegaard, pressing king, great leadership, Rice dominates that midfield. They win this game and go to the semis. Arsenal's Champions League season has been a success at that point because most Arsenal fans that I've come across who don't rate themselves that highly laughed at the idea of getting to the quarterfinals, let alone the semi-finals. And nobody spoke about Arsenal at the beginning of the season of having if you'd have said semi-finals Arsenal, most people would have said not on your Nelly. So I think they do that. Again, it's another gateway pass. It's a little bit of a moment to maybe help build some more resilience. And once you're in the semi-finals, anything can happen because you're essentially 3 games away from being European champions. And if they would, see who's through in the next round, it could be Man City. They've got a good record against them this season as an example, but they've got to go into this game. I said it earlier on today with a little bit of chest, Arsenal. Not arrogance, not overconfident, not thinking it's going to be easy because it's going to be a hard night. But if they go into this game, like I've seen a lot of their fans talking in the last few days, with their towels between their legs, with their heads down, their shoulders down, they could get battered. They really could get battered if you go to someone like Munich and you're all timid and shy and, I don't know if I belong here. We lost to Aston Villa. Our season's over. The season's only over if they allow it to be. Arsenal have got the capabilities of winning tonight. I still have Bayern Munich as narrow winners. I do. I'm not saying that Arsenal will do it, but I've seen too many Arsenal fans in the last 3 days almost want to throw their season away because they're up against it a little bit. And it's a great opportunity tonight for these Arsenal players to step up and make themselves be counted.
Yeah,
in
but
contrast to that,
you said
sorry, go on.
You said something to Arsenal fans. You said you can make your Champions League season successful. It's already successful. Quarterfinal in the first season back, it's already successful. Even if they go out, and I've said that by the way from the beginning. I'm not saying that because they drew at the Emirates. I actually said that Bayern Munich are favorites. Bayern Munich are before even they played the first game. I said Bayern Munich have more experience. Bayern Munich have a coach that has done it, has won it, and reached the final. And I think a lot of people are telling Arsenal fans, you should, you must, you have to. If you don't, you're a failure, just to banter them. And then they fell for Arsenal fans fell for it.
So I would say this. I think where they've got to makes it successful, right? Might be the right word. I think they've kind of hit a target in terms of let's get to the quarterfinals. Yes. I think if they go beyond that target, then you look at it and go, for your first year back with an inexperienced manager, it's success. But I think getting beyond the point where most people expected, that does a lot for your confidence as a football player. It does a lot for your growth and your development. With or without Arteta in the future, it's important for these players. And I just feel that I know Bayern Munich are an excellent team, but you've got to go there with it. And maybe I'm looking at this from a perspective of my team's really bad. And everybody that we play at the moment, I'm fearful of losing to. But Arsenal, when they play well, are an excellent team. When you know you can play very well, you've already had excellent results this season against teams that you invariably lose or draw against, like City's and Liverpool's. I feel like you should still go into this game, not overconfident, not arrogantly, not, we're going to smash them 4-0 or any dumb, stupid opinions, but with the view, if we play well, we can win. And I think Arsenal need to have that mentality to try and get something out of tonight.
100%. Nobody's disagreeing with you.
there is a point, Lawless. I want to throw another player tonight who he probably has been mentioned on a lot of the newspapers, but I haven't read them today. This could be an interesting night for Harry Kane because he's left North London. He's gone to Germany for guaranteed trophies and not won one of them. And in all due respect, domestically, Bayern have been embarrassed this year with a team that's never won the league smashing them and maybe going invincible. They got knocked out by Minnow in the Pokal. If he gets knocked out by Arsenal tonight, in the Champions League with the second leg at home with the advantage in their favour, what an awful, I know he's got a lot of goals, but what an awful first year this could be in Germany for Harry Kane.
It'd be a complete embarrassment. This really is all or nothing for Kane because if he goes out today, you look at it and go, what was the point of him leaving Spurs? He could have been staying, and listen, I've got no love for Spurs, but he could have stayed at Spurs, been a part of the exciting new Ange Postecoglou era. Maybe him in that team could have helped push them further and done more with a team that he's been at since he was a boy. He's gone somewhere he thought he was guaranteed at least one trophy, and to come away with zero. This is his last chance this season. Because they go again next season. But is it to get the stench of that failure off it? That's going to be a hard pill to swallow as he goes into international competitions as well, man. He has to. This has to be the performance of his career, and we've seen him choke at the highest levels before in these sort of games. This is time for him to be the main man and step up and drag his team through if he's serious. Because imagine going to Bayern and you still are not winning anything. Maybe it's the Spurs curse. I don't know, man. But this is a cup final for Harry Kane. It has to be.
He's going to be all right. And he played all right the first game.
Yeah,
he played good. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to play good. I think he's going to.
There's pressure though, Mo. Do you think that pressure is going to be?
I don't think he has any pressure. To be honest, about Munich. I think the English media. He lives in Germany now. I think he has no pressure. Nobody puts pressure on him
to achieve, to win.
He has to. He does, but he can do so much. They have Thomas Tuchel and the players. Bro, he's the top scorer in the world. What do you want him to do? You bought a goal scorer. He's the top scorer. What do you want Harry Kane to do? What do you want Harry Kane to do? Man. It's not on him.
No, but
it's what does Harry Kane can do more?
I think there is an element of Harry Kane. Harry Kane isn't just a goal scorer; he's also a playmaker. But I went and just looked at the 7 games that Bayern Munich have lost in the Bundesliga this year. Now, I didn't watch them all, so if someone knows more than me, please say. I'm not claiming this, but in the 3-2 defeat to, I don't know how to pronounce their name, is it Heidenheim? Mm-hmm. He scored the first goal. So you can say, well, he delivered an important point in that game. Outside of that, he scored in one of the other defeats, but it was a late consolation goal when they were 3-1 down. Very late. In all the other defeats, he doesn't score. Looking at the stats, he didn't really create. I'm looking at that as he needs to deliver. So in games where he hasn't delivered, his team's gone on to lose. He's the talisman. He is the goal scorer. If tonight Arsenal come and play well, and Harry Kane has a game like the Champions League final or a game like the League Cup and the FA Cup semi-finals that he's been in, if he cowers away, if he has a performance like he did against France for England, if he has a performance like he did against Croatia for England, if he has a performance like he did in the final against Italy for England, if he does those things tonight and Bayern Munich go out, you can look at their season and say, in so many games where they lost this season, he didn't turn up. In the Champions League, he didn't turn up. You then start looking at the catalogue of games in his career that were so big, the pivotal moments. If he doesn't deliver in those opportune moments, that's why I don't put him on that table. And that's why when people say to me, ability counts for everything, I laugh. Because if it's just on ability, then you're putting him on the table with players that have all delivered in that space. Why does he deserve to be on their dining table on that higher ground? He doesn't. It's nights like tonight. It's those gilt-edged games in title. By the way, in the title race in this season, they've lost four games, and in the 4 games that they've lost, he scored in one of them in the title race. And I said this before when people used to say, "Oh, Kane's up there with the Henrys and the Rooneys and the Cantonars." I'm using Premier League-based players here. You know, I've seen people talk about he's one of the best strikers of the last 30 years in Europe. No. All the others that you mentioned have been clinical in finals, semi-finals, big Champions League nights, title races. This man scores loads of goals, but far too often. And we all said it was Spurs. But so far for Bayern Munich, he's been the same. Scores throughout most of the time. As soon as the going gets tough, his old April starts to go, and he doesn't deliver. So it's a massive night for him. As much as people are going to put this all on Saka or on Odegaard, I think there's even more pressure if, based on your logic, Mo, that the better achievements are the underdogs winning, but for Harry Kane to be in the best striker in the league, one of the best strikers in the world, and play for a team that's favourites to win at least 2 of the 3 they've been in, and in the top 2 or 3 favourites to win this tournament, to flop in all of them is an embarrassment. It absolutely is an embarrassment.
If he scores today and his defense concede 2 and they lose, are you going to say he bottled it?
Not necessarily. I need to watch the performance as well. So if he does well, if his hold up play is great, if he's creating chances, if he gets that one opportunity and he scores it, but they make 2 mistakes at the back, Eric Dyer farts and they mess up. No, I won't say that. But if Arsenal go out there and win 2-1 and Kane missed 3 sitters,
of course he's the bottler.
Then I'm gonna say it. So again, this one saying he needs to deliver. Win, lose, or draw, he has to deliver, because in most of the other games that I remember where Spurs or England have flopped, he's had a bad game or had the moments to change it and not taken them. So
I hear you. I'm not going to argue that, but because I thought he played well in the first game. I thought he played well.
No, he did. He did, but the second leg in knockout football, unless you win it in the first leg,
if he's not a stinker today, we'll call him out and say you bottle it when it matters. It's simple as that.
He needs to perform.
He needs to perform. And I think all eyes are going to be on Arsenal more than Bayern Munich today. Like
fans of the Premier League, yes. I mean, I don't think Bayern Munich fans are. Bayern Munich fans are looking at Kane and Co.
We deal with English-speaking fans, so
no, listen, I'm looking at Harry Kane today because the thing with Harry Kane is I have high standards for him because I want him to. I think his ability dictates he deserves to sit on that table with all the great strikers we've watched in the last 30-40 years. But he doesn't even get admission into the restaurant, let alone sit on the table yet, because he hasn't even picked up 1 medal. And he needs to, because the rest of them have all got them. Do you know what I mean? You've at least got to have a League Cup or a Bacau for an admission. Then you've got to work your way up, and you've got to be pivotal in winning them.
He made the worst career decision in his life when he signed the long contract, and when he couldn't convince Daniel Levy to let him go to Manchester City. That's the worst career decision I've seen from a football player.
I get that. Yeladine here says, Terry, you can't just read out 7 games when he hasn't scored and say he needs to deliver. Who's to say he wasn't great in those games? I mean, I did say, though, that I didn't watch the games, and if anybody can say that he performed brilliantly, and then please educate me. So I appreciate your point, but I've already caveated that by saying it. And if you did watch it, tell me how great he was, and maybe my opinion will change. But I'm going by what people have said. I've been Bayern Munich fans have said, and I've read, as opposed to that. Now, as I've said, if you know more, educate us. But your challenge, with respect, doesn't make any sense because
I said something this morning, and people said I'm crazy. I said I would be more surprised if Real Madrid beat Man City today than if Arsenal beat Bayern Munich. Is that crazy to say, or is that too complicated?
No, it's not complicated. So you're predicting Arsenal to go out tonight?
I am, as Real Madrid to go out, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Arsenal go through. I'll be surprised more if Real Madrid go through with all.
Okay, sorry, I misheard you.
Exactly. I'll be more surprised if Real Madrid win against City than Arsenal win against Bayern Munich.
Is that because you rate Arsenal more than you rate Real Madrid? Or you rate Man City more than you rate Bayern Munich?
Because Man City have not lost in the Champions League 3 years at home, and they haven't lost since 2022 at home. So, but Bayern Munich have this season lost at home, so Arsenal can go there and win, right? But they don't have the experience and all the stuff. But I think they can do it. Do I think they will do it? No, I do think Arsenal will win today. The best they can get probably is a draw. If they win today, hats off to them.
So when we say win, I'm just saying go through, win the tie, as opposed to winning in 90 minutes. Do you genuinely believe Arsenal are out?
I think Arsenal. I actually, if I'm putting my money on it, if I'm telling someone to put the money, I'll tell them to put the money on Bayern Munich to go through, not Arsenal. But small margin, 60-40 in favor of Bayern. In the other game, for me, it's 75-25, if not 80-20%.
Wow.
In favor
just on the basis of Man City's home record, because
yes,
I think Real Madrid still have quality players, match winners.
With all the quality of players they had, and Man City's absentees in the first game, it was still 3-3. See that? It was still 3-3. With all these absentees and all this stuff. And by the way, Nacho's gonna play at the back today with Rudiger.
Yes.
Like not even sure how many. So
I think if Man City get through today, I think they win the whole thing. When you look at what's left in the competition,
Kylian Mbappe, we're hoping Kylian Mbappe or Dortmund can do something.
Yeah, but it's come on, man. Mbappe FC, this is PSG, man, and I think if Bayern Munich have 11 men on the pitch, PSG don't go through. So.
Listen, who do I want to go through? I want Real Madrid and Arsenal to go through. Who do I want personally?
How do you see it going, Dan? Which do you think Arsenal can do it tonight, or do you think they're goners?
I think they can. Of course, I think they can do it because look, it's 0-0. They are the underdogs, but they do have quality players. And like you said, the fact that Bayern Munich has key players missing does work in Arsenal's favour. It's going to be about the mentality. That's been the big question mark over this Arsenal team is the mentality. Can they pick them up? Because I looked at the Arsenal players after that Villa game, man. They looked absolutely despondent. Like they were gutted, they were devastated, and understandably, can they pick themselves up in that short amount of time now and believe that they can go on and beat a team like Bayern Munich? But I think the experience, I think the fact that it is at Bayern Munich, I think that it's just going to be a step too far. So can they? Yes. Will they? No.
Fair dues, viewers, I want your predictions for tonight's game in the comments section now. Let's go to some of these super chats that have come in. The logic used for Kane, but not the likes of Saka and Rice, who have effectively done nothing at the highest level either. Well, not by me. Not by me. Not by me. So that's why I have Saka above. Sorry, it's why I have Foden above Saka. Equally, Saka at a young age did contribute to his team winning an FA Cup. And I also haven't spoken about Saka as being in the conversations as one of the greatest right-sided attackers in Premier League football history, where people put Kane in that situation. Declan Rice, a club like West Ham, captained them to a European trophy. So he has been directly involved in the team winning. But again, I am not going to put Rice. I'm not going to put Rice on a category of a Roy Keane or a Scholes or a KDB as a midfielder yet, because he hasn't achieved what they have. So
look what Kane did with Spurs in that competition. They struggled. They lost to Farmers. And they want to talk about technicality of how they got eliminated in that competition. They were third in their table with one game left to play. So come on, man. No,
I agree. If no trophy, has Arteta fouled or have the players fouled him?
Nothing. It depends on the context. If Arsenal still win 5 of the last 6 games in the Premier League and lose today by a small margin, this season have not been a failure. So I'm not gonna say someone failed somebody. They just reached a quarterfinal of the Champions League and they challenged for the title better than last season. Simple.
If you've got a process, at some point that process has to end in a major trophy. And I've seen even the most positive Arsenal fans say it would be criminal for this team to end the season with no trophy.
So I've heard yesterday, I was talking to some of the Arsenal fans on my channel yesterday, and actually Liverpool. And at the end, they reached a conclusion, which is very, very, very dangerous in football, that they have to accept reality that Pep is here and second position is all right. And I actually tweeted that, and I got a lot of answers and people actually DM'd me and said, actually, we kind of made peace with it. That as long as Pep is here, what can we do?
This is why I'm desperate for Liverpool to win the league this year. This is why I'm so desperate to silence that. Oh, Pep.
I was so mad, Lawless, when they said that yesterday. I was so mad. I got upset. And how? They literally said that. And, okay, there's two, Rory and Tom, both on
No,
my channel.
I hear you.
I didn't like it.
I think there's a difference between accepting it and going crazy, like, oh, that's it, manager's crap, sack him, rubbish. There's a difference between that and, well, let's not bother trying to win it because they're here. I hear you. MP says, Terry, it doesn't matter. All these players are out. They still have Tell and Muller. I know they do, but there's still less options. You would still rather play a Bayern team with no Alphonso Davies, no Gnabry, and no Koeman rather than have them. Yes. I heard that they are playing 2 left backs on Saka. If that's true, that's crazy. But if that's true, then somebody else has got more space on the pitch. So as much as that nullifies Saka, somebody else has got more space. Fears Arteta's inexperience is going to cost us. Man City, with all their squad, has struggled before winning. Today is our lesson. Pain incoming, but I'm still supporting my team. Cheers, Sid. Listen. I get the nervousness. I would be nervous. Banlat Dio here says that Lawless had to find a way to slag Arsenal's invincibles, even though everyone says going invincible is not an achievement. Lol.
The Arsenal fans are so easily triggered. It wasn't even about Arsenal. It was about comparing, achievements in different leagues. So it was more about that than about Arsenal. But we know what our Arsenal fans feel about these things. So take it how you want.
The reason people want City to win is not because everyone likes City. It's because everyone hates Liverpool and Arsenal. Their fans are insufferable.
It's not about the fans, people.
I do get it. I get it, but I can't practice that. It's people. I don't get where all these people are that are being insufferable, in the sense of in your real life. Who are they? Who are these people? And if they're your friends, they can't be insufferable. And if you don't like them, why are you around them? And if you follow them on social media and you don't like them, that's what the block button was invented for. I don't understand it. You don't have to You don't have to go to the parade and watch them all celebrate. I don't get it.
People you like can still be insufferable. There's a lot of Arsenal fans I really like and get on with that are insufferable. I love Robbie. He's winning and so is Laurie.
It's funny when you say that. Maybe that's where I think where we differ. If I find somebody insufferable on any subject matter, I cut them out of my life completely.
Wow.
I'm just if I don't like something about someone, I'm just done with them. So anyone
football though, you kind of got to accept it. Come on,
that's what I think it is. I accept it, so it doesn't make me feel like they're insufferable. Because everyone I work with or hang around with personally, I like. Outside of that, if I find if I find a YouTuber insufferable, I'll never ask to work with him. If he or she wants to come on the show, I'll say no, just because I know I'm going to get annoyed because I find you insufferable. But.
You're the one who introduced me to Osam, and Osam was insufferable in that quad. You actually, the first time we did the show with Osam was when Inter were facing Liverpool in the Champions League, and he was insufferable. He was so insufferable, and I'm like, I can't take this guy. I can't take this guy.
Yeah,
he's so annoying at sometimes. Look at us. We work together.
I like Sam because I cook him so much. It's fun. Do you know what I mean? I get him so much. It's fun.
Him,
so
he's a friend.
I think he's a good example, and Igal, of insufferable fans from a fan point of view, not as great people, but from when their team's winning and doing well, they're insufferable from a football point of view. But
so I get that. But that wouldn't make me want to see City set a record that my club will probably never achieve, right?
Yeah,
just so that they're not insufferable. The two things are not even close to me. Like I don't really get.
Part of you would want to see him in the mud, not that much, but there's.
I like seeing him in the mud, but it's got to be when an achievement isn't going to do something which changes the face of football forever, that damages my club. And I think Gabriel Jesus will be key today. He is good on away Champions League matches. He was good when he came on in the last Champions League game. He made a real difference. I mean, he's been poor in the league, but. Listen, for Arsenal's sake, I hope he does. Liverpool were 10 points ahead on match day 23. They couldn't have been 10 points ahead. No way. Nobody talked. They were 5 points ahead. They weren't 10 points ahead. They were 5 points ahead. That's a bottle job.
You're desperate, Sid. You're desperate to make someone else a butler. You're desperate. I don't know who you support. You're desperate, Sid.
Bottle brothers, bottle friends. There we go.
Just to go back, before you end, I wanted to go back to the point. Actually, just to not be like just said what Tom and Rory said, they had an argument. They said, we cannot do anything to be better than Pep. They literally asked me the question, what can we do as teams to be better than Manchester City? And I actually couldn't answer. I said, be better. And they said, well, here's your answer. We cannot be better than Manchester City. They will keep outspending us. They will keep bringing the best players. Nobody will be better than Pep Guardiola. So we just have to accept it. And I thought about it after they are done.
Transfer window, though, have they outspent? Have Man City
last season after a treble, they did outspend Arsenal and everyone.
But yeah, but I'm talking about season after. Say that they'll keep outspending means that you can never outspend City, and I don't think that's true. I think Arsenal in some transfer windows have spent more than City, so that's
sometimes.
That's
but
crazy.
City have a very good system and a very good club that is run very well.
Yes, well that's the thing, because as Terry will tell you, spending isn't always the answer. It's how you spend it. You know, clubs like Man City, Manchester United, and Chelsea have spent vast quantities of money, but it's how you spend it.
Totally agree, boys. Always a pleasure to speak football with the two of you. I want to thank all of our super chatters. You're amazing. Everyone who's hit the like button, you're brilliant. To my members and subscribers, you're the best. We're live after the big Champions League games tonight, so make sure you're back here on the football terrace. I think it's going to be an epic night. Whatever the results. Last night was crazy. I caught up on the highlights this morning. It was amazing. Tonight, I think if you're a fan of the Premier League, it's going to be even better because there's 2 Premier League teams involved. But until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.